Hello, beautiful soul family. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I hope you're doing well this week. I know there's some really intense energy swirling around all of us right now, so I'm just sending you a lot of love and a big hug. This is going to be a general twin flame energy check-in, channeled messages. I even have some channeled songs that came through when I was meditating on this energy. I'm going to be tapping into the divine masculine, where they're currently at, how they're viewing the divine feminine, what obstacles they are overcoming right now, and I'm going to be doing the same for the divine feminine counterpart as well. And I will be tapping into the union energies too. And just a reminder, as I'm speaking of divine masculine, divine feminine energies, these do exist within us, so they could be being manifested within your own energy field. You may be receiving this reflected back to you from a divine counterpart. With that, let me give you the songs. Actually, they all seem to have a very similar message, and there's a couple here that I hadn't heard before, but they came in really strongly. The first one was "Is This How You Feel?" is the name of the song by Preachers. "Loved by You" is the name of the song by Kirby. "Happiest Year" by James Young, and "Why" by Shawn Mendes. If you're feeling drawn to it, I would look up the lyrics or even listen to the music. Again, if you're feeling drawn to, do so. So when I was tapping into the divine masculine energy, I was getting this message of, I don't think I can take your reaction right now, and you're the only person that truly gets me. And with that, I also got, would you give me the chance to make things right between us? I just want you to be happy, and I'm sorry that I held myself back with you. The message that I was getting is, and I think we've talked about this many a times, and I'm sure a lot of you have tapped into this as well, is seems to be a real difficulty as we're anchoring in the union energies and really kind of stripping bare and being vulnerable with one another, both the divine feminine and divine masculine. And again, I think that can be incredibly overwhelming because essentially you are standing in front of your mirror, and so nothing is really going to go unlooked. And I feel like both of the twins recently have been integrating even deeper some of their shadow aspects, and again, we've talked about that in the last couple weeks. There's been a little bit of a trigger that's come up, and really to allow the twins to integrate some of these shadow aspects even deeper, and really own who they are, the full 360 view of who they are, and really own that and accept it, and heal through these shadows and distortions with love. And I do feel that really strongly in the union energies, and I feel like there's been a pause in the actual physical communication and interactions because of this integration, this deeper integration. Again, I feel like the twins that I'm speaking to in this collective came together. I do feel that the energy was a lot more manageable. It wasn't so chaotic, but still, even with that, it was more or less like a really good trial run, but there's still a couple kinks that needed to be worked out. That's the way that they keep giving it to me. And so for the masculine, one of those kinks again is, are you good? They're working through, are they good enough? And I feel like the divine masculine specifically is really coming up against one of the more challenging obstacles that they've faced in this entire journey. And that is really coming forward with their heartfelt truth without the knowledge of how the divine feminine is going to respond to them. And this seems to be a struggle for the divine masculine, because the divine feminine's energy towards the divine masculine has changed quite a bit. So in the past, when the divine, at the start of this journey, when the divine feminine was really deep within their healing, the way that they interacted with the divine masculine, again, some of that was really coming from the distorted version of feminine. A lot of that, chasing and clingy energy. And I feel as if the distorted, unhealed version of the divine masculine really understood. They actually this was so familiar to them. That is the way that they've engaged with feminines in the past, that distorted version of feminine energy. And now that the divine feminine has really moved through their healing, and they're really operating more from that Empress divine feminine essence, the divine masculine is really figuring out how to interact with that energy. And also with that, because they are unsure of the response from the divine feminine, now that and I'm just saying she because it's the way it flows through me. It could be him as well. Now that the divine feminine is really standing in her full power, they're really being pushed towards, again, this is one of the greater obstacles the divine masculine is going to be overcoming, is really trusting the journey. And it's essentially, as within, the divine masculine counterpart is really being asked to trust the divine feminine essence of themselves within, which really is the intuitive guided motion, and the divine masculine follows without really knowing what the outcome is going to be. They're just being guided. It's what their heart is calling for, but they don't actually know what it's going to look like. And again, that is the energy of that 5D, of that higher consciousness, is really allowing the divine feminine to lead and trusting by following the path with your divine masculine essence, as within and so without, not knowing what it's going to look like. Now, in the past, in more of that 3D version of reality, the divine masculine, or I won't say divine masculine, the distorted version of masculine really led the way, created this stable, what was considered to be a stable foundation, which just meant that you could see it beforehand before you actually engaged in it in any other way. So I hope that makes sense, but that is where the divine masculine is really coming into this initiation point, where they're really being asked to trust their inner divine feminine, their inner heart essence, to move forward without knowing what it's going to look like. That leap of faith, that initiation really into that higher, that 5D energy field. And I'm getting that here with education and follow the leader, these two cards here. That the divine masculine, and I don't mean to laugh, I just, because this energy again exists within us as well, but they, it's trying to figure out, what does this look like? Like, how do I follow the divine feminine? And again, especially, these, we are all stepping into an unknown energy field. There really isn't a model to follow. And I think that's where a lot of, especially the twins in this collective, are struggling right now, is that we are essentially really paving the way. There isn't a whole lot that has come before us that we can look to, but I am getting the message from Spirit, and I got it here in some of the messages and guidance, to really look towards mentors, guides, teachers, those that you're being led to, soul family, that is familiar with navigating this energy, for support. And it's really going to assist you in kind of moving through some of that chaotic energy as you are separating from old sense of self and really stepping into your divine masculine, divine feminine essence, and really embodying those energies. Now, with the divine masculine, the way that they're viewing the divine feminine right now, and I think this is why there seems to be a struggle with the communication, is they're very aware of just how tapped in the divine feminine is. It's almost as if they're really becoming accustomed to exchanging energy with that frequency of a embodied human that is operating with all senses, because it really requires that you show up authentically. You can't hide anything, and I think that's what the divine masculine is really overcoming. The counterpart right here is that there really is no hiding. There really is no option other than to be completely stripped bare when interacting in balance and harmony with your divine counterpart. And again, I feel like that's where the struggle is for both the divine masculine, divine feminine, coming back into physical interaction and communication, is it really requires that you anchor into your heart space, and that you are able to maintain that energy in a balanced way. Not that you won't fluctuate, but the energy will just be more stable. It will be easier to fall back into the heart space when you come in and out of it. And the divine masculine is overcoming this view as if my divine feminine is all-knowing and all-seeing and can tap in and can call out and can smell a mile away the lies and the manipulation, does that mean she can eat me for dinner? That's just the way they're giving it. Does that mean she can eat me for dinner? As in, is she going to eat me alive if I come forward stripped bare and vulnerable based off of, wow, this is coming through now, based off of what's happened in the past? Wow. There's an energy coming through here as, the divine masculine being aware that the divine feminine is really kind of operating on all cylinders are fired. They're extremely aware and tapped in and tuned in that if the divine masculine were to take the chance to come forward to the divine feminine stripped bare and raw, essentially, would they eat them for dinner? Because of what's happened in the past, because of the just the back and forth, the running, the pain, the hurt that's really been, that the divine feminine has moved through. And I think that I just want to say, for those divine feminine counterparts that have really been working through that healing journey and integrating these aspects of ourselves and really coming into the embodiment of that balance, that energy recognizes themselves in others, and they really, there is no pleasure in an eye for an eye type of energy, because they are really honoring each individual's journey and where they are, and sees the really takes ownership for their perception of others, really takes ownership for their own triggers, really takes ownership for their own pain. And I hope that that's landing. I hope that that was explained well. But wow, what a really powerful message coming through here from the divine masculine. Now, I was asking for guidance and support for the divine masculine, and again, my guides are really pointing to the divine masculine is really gathering all the strength within their bank, their energy bank, to move past this constant denial and self-sabotage that the divine masculine has really, they've continued to deny themselves the unconditional love, the exchange of balance and harmony between the divine feminine and divine masculine, this constant denial, but they're really overcoming this. There's a lot of strength that's really coming through. There's a lot of support that's coming through for the divine masculine. I do feel that the divine masculine are actually remembering their gifts from early childhood that they may have put on the back burner or turned off in regards to trauma that they experienced in relation to their feminine energy. They're really remembering that and tapping back into it. I do feel that the divine masculine has done some inner child healing, and that is part of what's coming through here, part of the strength that's building, and the spirit's messages and guidance, to the divine masculine. And this is also the way it comes through in my course that I'm I'm offering right now of those 4 pillars of healing is that the pillar of healing that comes forward before the physical manifestation, before the letting go, is speaking truth. And the message I was getting from my guides when I was pulling the energy here is that the divine masculine has really bypassed this multiple times. There's actually been so many cycles repeated where the divine masculine has really moved through, again, if you're unfamiliar with the 4 pillars that I speak of, the first pillar I speak of is opening your heart and really tapping into that source energy and connection with source, God, source energy. And with that, you're really moving through your boundaries and managing your own energy. And then you move into the really tapping into your spiritual gifts, which we're talking about here. So spiritual gifts and recognizing, that we're more than just, that we are eternal beings, and remembering that, coming back into that remembrance of who we are, what we're here to do, really seeing our soul mission and soul purpose. And I do believe the divine masculine has moved through that. And now they're stepping into this third pillar of healing that comes right, before the manifestation, is speaking the authentic truth from that heart space and that connection to source, is speaking that full authentic truth that is not sprinkled in any type of manipulation or deceiving energy. It is full on heart centered exchange. There is no expectation of what is going to be received back. It is truly just speaking your true heart. And that is the message and guidance from spirit here to the divine masculine, that in the past they've really cycled through, they're giving me so many times of bypassing this one pillar and expecting the manifestation. But what they're saying is that in the past, the divine masculine, again, has not really spoken the full, authentic, true, pure, heart-centered truth based in trust and, again, that heart-centered energy, and then ended up manifesting a variation of what their heart was actually desiring. And again, there's a lot of reasons for that. They're pointing me back to the self-worth, and really feeling as if, we are not worthy of choosing the door that we know is meant for us, that we know is meant for our soul, that is of the highest and greatest good of ourselves and all. Now, I will tap into the divine feminine here because I was really wanting to know where the divine feminine is at this point. And the divine feminine is really just restoring their own energy from this, their word they're giving me is hiccup, a little bit of a trigger here. And in their healing and their restoring of their energy and their balance, they've really been focused on visualization, energy healing, meditation, really doing any type of leftover work around their self-worth. And there is a strong message from spirit here of just reminding the divine feminine to relax and allow this to come in, really sit in your divine feminine essence. I do feel, and I've mentioned this before, the divine feminine counterpart has been healing their inner divine masculine within the last year and a half, 2 years for this collective I'm channeling here. And the divine feminine counterpart in this collective is really anchoring back into the balance of divine feminine, divine masculine, and really allowing that divine feminine essence to lead and embodying that. And with it, there is this kind of this next step for the divine feminine to let go and release and allow the divine masculine to come forward. That you can release you do not need to control this journey. You do not need to feel as if, I feel like there's this misconception sometimes that the divine feminine is somehow more tapped in than the divine masculine, and I don't believe that that's true. I just feel that it's communicated and perceived, the energy is perceived differently or experienced differently. But I feel that perception that the divine feminine may be more tapped in than the divine feminine. You know, they often refer to that divine feminine essence as being the awake twin. Again, I don't feel that way. It's just the way that it's been communicated and possibly perceived. But with that, it almost feels as if there was a responsibility that was placed on the divine feminine to take action on this inner knowing, this intuitive knowledge that this journey was, you know, part of their soul mission, their soul path, and that they were responsible for really holding this energy true, and maintaining this energy and moving it forward and following spirit guidance because of this idea that the divine masculine may not be doing so. And this is a really strong message that, again, that was really coming from more of that unhealed, distorted version of feminine energy, whereas the healed divine feminine allows themselves to receive, to trust in the receiving. And that's a really strong message coming in for the divine feminine. And I feel really, and I mentioned this in my last reading, there is something incredible manifesting here. And I'm getting it really strongly on the divine feminine counterpart side. I'm getting this energy of love and change. I feel that a lot of you may literally be moving very soon. And there is this stepping into full flow energy of the divine feminine and opening up to receive. And with that, there's this portal that opens of this wild card energy I'm getting here. And I was asking, you know, how does the divine feminine know that door opening is that of the highest and greatest good, is within their soul mission, their soul path? And the card I got here was Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to your life. And I feel as the divine feminine sinks deeper and deeper and deeper into their embodiment of the divine feminine and honoring those union energies within and really allowing the divine feminine to lead, there is some beautiful gifts that are just going to show up on the doorstep of the divine feminine. That's the way that they're giving it to me. There's a beautiful opening and opportunity that is coming in here. Now, when I'm tapping into the union energies here, there is a just release. There's a release and acceptance and integration of these, these shadow aspects through this recent triggering of the twins, and really coming into this beautiful place of I don't know what word they're trying to give me, but reinforced power, or yeah, I think that's what it is really just this like amped up inner union energy that is really amping up your internal power source, your source energy within. And again, I feel like both of the twins and the union energies here are really learning and again, connecting with soul family, connecting with mentors, with coaches, and the message they're giving me here, this card specifically says seek a mentor and find help from materials that resonate with you. And I feel that really strongly for the divine feminine and for the divine masculine as we're moving through this period right now, because it seems to be that one of the greatest struggles of maintaining this union energy in a physical way is that we're really forging the past. So there isn't so much to look onto, to look to as an example. But there are examples out there, and there are twins in union out there. There are beings that have moved through this energy. And so spirit is really for anyone that this is resonating with, I truly would seek a mentor or a coach. If you're feeling drawn to me, that is something that I do offer. I do offer a mentorship, and it will be listed below if that's something that you're interested in. I also do readings. I can really see and view out the blueprint of twin dynamics, and the big picture of the connection is one of my gifts when I'm reading for twins. And is there anything else here that they want you want to come through with? Just reminding me a lot of messages are coming through. Music, and to really, again, through your meditation and your rebalancing of your inner knowing, and really coming to more of that, like they're just giving me the energy of slowing down. There's a lot of channeling and messages and guidance and support, confirmation that's going to be coming through to you. So stay tapped into your inner union energies, and really they're giving me that message of seeing the bigger picture. So really viewing out, and just doing your best to not get super sucked into kind of those like micro energies that are happening right on the surface. Really look at the bigger picture of all of it. And with that, I'm sending you all so much love, and I will see you next week.